Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Humble Beginnings, Great Expectations. We are at the Rejuve Skin, Body, and Wellness Center. We're going to talk to the owner today about her entrepreneurial journey. Please make sure that you subscribe, follow. Let's go.
Be humble. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down. Be humble. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down. Be humble. Be humble. Sit down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Humble Beginnings, Great Expectations, the show that profiles entrepreneurs, artists, business owners, their journey from the bottom to the breakthrough. I'm your host, Jeremy Johnson. I run a real estate company, 7J Finance, Commercial, and Consulting. And today we have a business owner who is a licensed aesthetic registered nurse, over a decade of medical and beauty industry experience, as well as the owner of Rejuve Skin, Body, and Wellness Center, Miss Micaela Tapia. Mika, thank you for your time.
Thank you for opening this platform for me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, you've earned it, literally.
Thank you.
So for sure. As we go into this, let's start from the very top. You know what I'm saying? Humble beginnings. You know, what inspired you to start your own business and a spa?
Being in the medical field and just seeing where Western medicine was going, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to be a space for people that needed the help, but get to the root cause of specifically scalp conditions like scalp psoriasis, scalp eczema, fungal dandruff, things of that sort. I knew there was a need, and then I also knew that what I was doing was also a niche industry and service. So I wanted to take advantage of that and be able to serve my community in both ways.
I love that. Now, a lot of people open up spas, right? You know, for the look and the aesthetic and things of that nature. But you opened up a medical-based spa that, you know, served like the more clinical needs as well as, you know, the cosmetic. So what did you see in the industry that made you focus into that? Kind of like an area that is missing, to be honest with you. You don't really see it a lot.
No. So what I realized is that there's no real help out there for anybody that has issues with their scalp. You go to a dermatologist and they're going to prescribe you a medicated shampoo. It's a Band-Aid over everything, right? So I wanted to get to the root cause. So I started to integrate functional medicine into this head spa service. And I've been able to help a lot of clients with their scalp conditions starting from inside. Everything starts from within. And being a nurse, being in the industry, I understand the etiologies of a lot of these conditions. And once you are able to understand that concept, your approach to it is different. If your goal is to actually help and not so much to gain financially, right? Doctors are kind of bound by insurances and certain things, and I'm not. So this is why I really got into this industry, because I could actually help people build their confidence back and actually address things that are happening and stemming from within, and not just help their scalp, but their entire life.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, again, when I was doing my research, it set you apart from a lot of other spa owners in that you don't just want to provide treatments, you want to lead and teach.
Correct.
And so, you know, what part of you made you want to take that different route?
So the scalp is a very uncharted territory, or shall I say newer area of the beauty industry. And I do specialize in the wound care as a nurse, and I understand so much more in depth on how to heal the skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of information out there. So I feel it's my job as a nurse to be an advocate and educate not only my clients, but also other people in the beauty industry or the medical field, and let them know that not only can they, you know, pivot their career into something that can be their own, but they can also provide that education that is absolutely necessary right now.
Yeah, that's huge. And that brings us to current times where everyone might have heard that the current administration has deemed nursing as not a professional degree, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. But ultimately, what you're doing is showing that there is a career path in a way to, convert nursing into something that is also enterprising in and of itself. But what about your experience as a nurse changed the way that you approached the beauty and aesthetics of it all?
I think what changed my approach was knowing that there was a need for this. There aren't too many places you can go and say, hey, I need help with my scalp, and them not offer you a steroid or some kind of topical medicated component. So yeah, that's kind of what kept me in this and made me realize there was not only a need, but I can also make this such a relaxing experience that you forget you're even here to get your scalp treated and to make a change.
Okay, all right. So now going back to like the path, which is what the show is all about. We profile the journey from the entrepreneur from the bottom to the breakthrough. And obviously you've broken through, but at the point in which you were a nurse prior to Rejuve, what was your life like and how were you feeling?
Sorry for a lot of my patients. At the time I was working at a surgical center where it was a lot of surgeries that would enhance, women and men, their looks. And I saw how, a lot of the things that they were going through just weren't being approached the right way, treated the right way. It was all about the money. And for me, it's a domino effect. When you're not treating the patient with whole body care, it's never going to get better, right? And a lot of these clients would come in and they would get a surgery and then they would have underlying issues and it just wasn't being addressed. So the results weren't the best, right? And so I wanted to be a place that was different. And I knew I was getting tired. I knew I was getting burnt out and I knew I had to make a change. And that's when I just decided enough's enough. And if I have to be in a weird space for a little bit to get where I need to go, I was willing to do that because the field can definitely burn you out. And I didn't want to be that nurse that felt no empathy or compassion.
Yeah.
Not only because of the doctors I was working with, but because of these patients too, it was tiring. So it was time to get out. I've always wanted to be a business owner. I've always wanted to do things that in my family weren't done.
Yeah.
And I just was blessed to find a niche like this.
So tell me about, what surprised you first about, when you were first getting set up. What surprised you about your clientele list? Because you work with women and men. Most people think women are like your main. What surprised you about your client list when you first started?
The first thing that surprised me was the fact that they would trust me to do anything with them because I also was learning everything at the same time. But it also surprised me to see how many people were willing to, walk away from Western medicine to get the help that they needed for the things that they couldn't. And at that point, I continued to realize like, wow, this is actually a need. There's so many people that are suffering from these conditions. And then it was also surprising to see my clients fall asleep during the treatment, so those were the first couple things. I was like, okay, well, boom. I see that this is in demand and it also makes them feel so good and relaxed. So to get those two together is a pretty good deal.
That showed that you were providing an experience for someone to feel comfortable enough to like knock out when you're, providing treatment.
Absolutely.
That's definitely a good sign that you're doing something good. You listen, we do commercial real estate at 7J Financial. Okay. So I always look at a place when I show up and I take a look at the flow and the the structure of how you put everything in place, and I'm very impressed about the cleanliness and the intention in which you put together your shop. But this is, again, you're broken through at this point. What was your first initial setup like? And be honest.
It was it wasn't the best. I was cultivating this experience that really was new to the United States, and I didn't go across seas to get an idea. I literally used just my imagination and what I thought would look good and be appealing. So I started off with one of these beds, just one in a very empty room. And I blindfolded my clients so that they forgot that they were in that room with me.
Okay.
They just experienced the service. And little by little, once, I got more of an idea of what I wanted things to look like and how I wanted the flow to be, which, entailed a lot of error. I got it together, and 3 years, I'm still figuring it out.
Sure.
But yeah, my first setup was pretty basic. I'll say that.
Okay, that's a good word. Do you remember your first client and service that you gave them?
Yeah. So I pretty much almost drowned her in the ring of water because I forgot you had to turn it off. These beds come with absolutely no direction. They come from China.
Okay.
And these are the beds that I do the service on. They have a panel on the side that is in Chinese that also speaks Chinese, and I had nobody to contact to figure out how to work it. So, the first couple clients were, they have no idea how important they are to me because they really helped me and they endured quite a bit, but I still have those same clients. They've stuck it out with me and they've seen my growth. So it's funny in retrospect. And I'm very grateful because without those experiences, I don't think I would have been able to, curate what I've curated now.
For sure. What's harder, treating clients or running a business?
Running a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Knowing nothing about business, just saying, you know what, I want to open a business out of nowhere is pretty wild.
Right.
Executing and figuring out contractors and can you trust somebody and how, who do you hire, the numbers behind it, the strategy, the market, extremely difficult and foreign for someone who is used to clocking in and working for a physician who says this is what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and I had no direction. I winged it, and by the grace of God, he, blessed me with an amazing ability to fake it till you make it. And that's what I did. And he put me in front of the right people and gave me the right lessons, and I learned from them. And I'm grateful for that. So I made a lot of errors, and I wish I'd gone to business school. And I really think that should be incorporated into school.
Sure.
But yeah, so it was challenging.
And that's mostly what, life is trial and error. Even, having children, it's, figuring out what you're doing. Nobody knows, how to really do it, especially if it's their first. But you treat your business as like a baby, you nurture it and you do what you need to do in order to bring it along. But what mistake cost you the most early on?
Not knowing how to upsell. Yeah, I am not good with rejection. So if I feel like this client might say no to me, I just won't say anything. And I'd let them walk right out the door. And that cost me a lot in the long run, because it was up to me to get them rebooked and have them become a recurring client.
Sure.
Some people, they might enjoy the experience and even might need you. But if you're not good at saying, hey, we need you back right, this week, or this is what we recommend, then you'll lose that client. And that was definitely.
Especially in a niche industry or service that you provide, it's hard to understand pricing, right? And what is, customary for a certain service or what have you. How did you figure out pricing without undervaluing yourself in the beginning?
So I definitely undervalued myself in the beginning because, again, it was a niche service and nobody really understood the benefits of the service. So I had to work my way up. And I understood that I was going to take a loss in the beginning
Sure.
at first in order to get to where I'm at now. And it was, I think it worked out the way it was supposed to because I definitely did a market analysis and I couldn't figure out what I should price this at because nobody was doing it.
Yeah.
I was the first one in this area. So there was nothing for me to go off of except maybe, an entry or a basic, facial, which this is basically what it is, a scalp facial. So I based my prices in the beginning off of a basic facial, which was very cheap. But that's how I reeled my clientele in and got, the word of mouth out about the experience and everything like that. And then, we go up by the grace of God. I'm so grateful.
Of course. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And so that being said, I mean, I think that's where the shift of mindset from employee to owner happens when that, understanding of the price and the margin and things of that nature. How long did it take for that mindset to set in for you?
Immediately, because I knew I was not feeling the weight in my pockets anymore.
Yeah.
The way I wanted to. So I knew that was gonna be my transition, my journey. But I'm getting a little more savvy, now that I've built a name and I've built my brand and my clientele base, I'm able to, pivot and upsell and do what I need to do to make sure that this is a profitable business, but we're also executing and, providing the service that's worth what we charge.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people stay, they just stay service-based and they just stay in that lane. Yet another thing that kind of separates you from others is the fact that you developed a master class in doing this. Why?
Because I always want to help. That's the nurse in me. I always also want to empower others because I really thought as a nurse that this is it. I'll be stuck in the hospital, or I can be a nurse practitioner and have my own practice but still be under a medical director. But I didn't want to do that. And I didn't know that this was even an avenue I could take. I thought under the scope of my practice, I was limited to just healthcare in a big hospital setting. And I also understood that what we do here in the state of Florida, at least, in a very state by state, you don't need licensing if you're using all organic products. So I was able to...
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was able to help people that had no idea what they were going to do, didn't have the time or the money to go to school. I was able to help them learn something that they really didn't need too much credentialing to start. Now, that's just the relaxational part. Now, you do have to be medically, or a medical professional to learn how to treat the scalp conditions and create treatment protocols. But I just wanted to be that person that let people know you don't have to feel stuck, nurses or anybody in the medical field. And even if you have no education, you can start somewhere and just keep catapulting yourself from there.
Now, most people want to, they want to hoard those secrets and, keep it to themselves. And
what's meant for me is meant for me.
Listen, I guess that's the question, is what gave you the confidence to, want to give your secret away and teach others?
So I don't give all my secrets away.
Okay.
What we do here, I won't teach every single part to my students, but I am a strong believer that what is meant for me, no one can take because it was already meant for me. And I am a strong believer that when you hold things like that, the good doesn't always come the way it's supposed to. And I want all the good I can get. So I want to do good. I want to help in any way I can. And I'm not afraid of losing anything because there's so much to gain. And being a gatekeeper does nothing for me or the industry. I want there to be more people that can help people that have these scalp conditions because there's not a lot.
No, I guess not. Do you feel any type of anxiety about maybe teaching your competition your methods or how to do this, or is it just all to the good?
No, because I know nobody is going to provide the care that I can provide. I am 10 years into this. There are not a lot of people who take this class that are wound care nurses. I always ask what their professions are prior to allowing them to attend the class. Now, even if there was a person who was a wound care specialist, it's probably not in a 20, 30 mile radius. So I'd hope that there's somebody 50 miles away that can do what I do.
Do you have them sign a non-compete or something like that when they
No.
take your...
No, I don't.
Wow.
I don't. I have a spa that I train that's 10 minutes up the road, but I know I'm confident in what I do. And, what I do is I make sure that they're not going to be treating conditions of the skin the way that I do.
Right.
And if they are interested in that, then we partner.
I love that. So I love the fact that you're equipping this, these techniques and this methodology into knowledge, as opposed to just, a service-based type thing. This is how you do it, so on and so forth. You can get in the, rigmarole of just doing something blindly, but you're actually using the knowledge. When did you realize the knowledge was more important than the actual techniques?
When I realized it because we deal with certain conditions like scalp psoriasis, right? Those are conditions that you have to
Those are
be mindful
medically,
of.
yeah, absolutely.
Then even if you're not approaching this from a medical standpoint, right? And it's just an experience, what if you get that client with psoriasis and you exacerbate their flare up? Now you're in a predicament. So I have to prepare my students to at least identify those kinds of things, which is knowledge based, prior to performing the service.
I love that. Do you experience imposter syndrome? Did you when you first started?
Absolutely.
Are you still experiencing it
Right now. I don't even know what I said this whole podcast, but I'm trying my best.
You're doing very good, by the way.
Thank you.
Have you come across people that have had a hard time seeing you as a business owner as opposed to, Mika the nurse? And how do you handle those situations?
I still find it hard to see myself in that light.
Yeah.
I'm just like, sometimes I think about it. I'm like, wow, I really came far. Do I really own this place? And
Right.
did I really do all of this?
Sure.
But I think that I've not met anybody that has made it, wow, I can't believe I don't. It's all been good vibes, thank God. Maybe my mom, who's like,
Mom.
what are you doing? This
Mom
is so
always
risky,
Mom always gonna keep it real with you now.
No, listen, when I first started, I was in my faking it. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, well, you gotta think about this. I'm like, you're freaking me out,
Yeah.
But I think she was super proud to see, that I was able to actually do it. And now she's like,
So
wow,
yeah.
yeah, but she still gives me, and you're doing this wrong, but you got to appreciate moms for that, because that's how sometimes you can't see things.
Of course, she gotta keep you on your toes too. That's mom.
Oh, she does.
So, what did self-care look like in your household growing up as a little girl?
Self-care?
Yeah. Because a lot of people would think of this, even getting facials done, getting your nails done, they think of it as self-care.
Yeah. No, so I didn't even know that a spa existed until I was an adult. My mother was a hardworking mother. My family, they were all hardworking, single mothers, and there wasn't a lot of that. The closest thing I saw to self-care was blow drying your own hair.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that was really it.
So when was your first spa for yourself? And, what was your first experience like?
When I worked at a spa,
Mm.
and it was still really hard to get things done for myself, but that's when I was exposed to that world. So to answer your question, as a kid, I don't know what that looks like. As an adult, it's also very not as common as it should be, being that I'm here all the time
Right.
and I've been in this setting. So I'm still in that phase of do for everybody else right now. I'll be fine.
Interesting. As a Latina entrepreneur, do people approach you differently or treat you differently at all that you see?
I will say that there has been a couple times where I felt judged, maybe, or maybe they didn't think I was competent enough. And when I'm in a situation like that, it almost drives me to really show up in the form I know I need to be. And I am articulating myself in such a way that by the time they walk out the door, they're like, wow, I can see how the respect shifts.
Yes.
So yeah, I've experienced that.
I love that.
Especially being in this area, South Tampa.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Cognizant about, your environment and where you are, demographic, of course. Yes, of course. All right. Great expectations. Are you building a brand or are you building a business? 10 years from now, where do you see Rejuve Skin and Body Wellness Center?
I'm building a brand. I do see myself franchising. I want my operations to be multiplied because it is an amazing experience, but it's an amazing change that can happen here if my protocols are followed, and we can have something where it's necessity meets, relaxation. And I think that's a great concept.
I think that's a commercial right there. Say that again.
I forgot most of already.
We're going to rewind that back.
Necessity meets, relaxation.
And we'll make that into an infomercial for her. Okay. There is a young woman right now that, might be down on her luck, or she might be burnt out, and maybe she might be, thinking about doing something like this. What type of advice would you give to her?
Do it. Take the risk. It'll be worth it. Don't be scared. You can do it. You can do it. Even if you don't know what you're doing, if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Finish this sentence. My humble beginnings taught me, and my great expectations are.
My humble beginnings taught me to go harder. And my great expectations are to succeed.
Sweet and short.
Yeah.
I love that. What do we have coming up? Do you have anything to pitch? Any events coming up? We just passed Valentine's Day, and I'm sure you're very busy.
Yes, we were. So we just got a third head spa, and so now we're able to accommodate 3 people at the same time. We also do have a new service coming out where instead of laying on your back and only getting your scalp and your upper body massage, on the front, we turn you around and now it becomes an entire massage with waterfall going down your neck and your scalp, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to advertise and market that new service. We just have to get some content going first so people can get a visual, because it's hard to visualize this experience without the actual visual.
I love that. Okay, so more big things coming up for you. Mika, Ella, I appreciate your time, the opportunity to profile you. It was very enlightening. I learned some new stuff today as well. Ladies and gentlemen, look out for more episodes of Humble Beginnings, Great Expectations. Shout out to Hoist for IV level hydration. Make sure you look out for them. Shout out to Mijo Sports Agency, as well as Mijo Video, who does all of our recording and video for our podcast. And, thank you for good people for subscribing and following, and look out for Rejuve Skin, Body, and Wellness Center in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap.